Hello, everybody. Hello.
Good to see a few of your guys get recognized, Pro Bowl honors.
Yeah, excited. Excited for them. Julian, Spoon, and Bobby. Just a great accomplishment. We congratulated them yesterday as a defense, and today the guys that were named alternates as well. It's always good to be recognized.
Last week we talked about improved tackling and the drills that have helped that. Why did it take a step back last week, or did it take a step back last week?
No, it did take a step back. That's the $1,000,000 question. A lot of it is just guys making sure we're fundamentals of tackling, not tackling so high. Obviously, being low, wrapping the legs, getting guys on the ground. The numbers of the ball, having swarming football with multiple bodies. Those elements of the fundamentals of tackling were lacking in the last game, obviously.
How much of the run defense issues were the tackling versus other things?
It was the fits weren't the problem. It was a tackling issue game, and obviously in playing high at the line of scrimmage, those things are all the fundamental parts of it that attributed to that performance. So obviously pad level at the line of scrimmage and obviously tackling.
The way Arizona's running the ball, safe to say that's a big focus this week to get that right.
There's no question. I mean, we understand that's the focus. When you show, it's a copycat league. When you show these issues going into games, obviously teams are going to try to replicate that within their own system, their own way. So you got to be prepared accordingly. You got to answer to the response or the challenge that comes up every week. So Arizona's going to do that. We have a lot of respect for James Conner, and all their backs are really good players. So tackling again is going to be at a premium in pad level and resetting the line of scrimmage. All those things come into play.
What was the number of missed tackles you had that you guys counted?
I had 19 for the game.
You obviously see that happening. What do you try to do for the game? Whatever.
I mean, everything, the communication on the headset with the coaches is we got to adjust pad level. We got to get down to the line of scrimmage. With the tackling, guys got to get low, get their cleats out of the grass. All those things are being said and constantly repeated. So obviously during the course of the game, it becomes very frustrating when you constantly see that. So it pisses you off to keep it as politically correct as possible.
What do you make of? I mean, the tackling was a new issue in that game, but the run defense for the last month or so is kind of really struggling. What do you make of that?
Really, when it comes down to it, a lot of the stuff is not necessarily fit issues, maybe a play here or there. It's just guys got to win one-on-one matchups. That's what run defense is. Is moving a man at his own will, getting off of blocks and finishing plays. So those areas got to be better, coach better, and play better.
We've talked about how difficult, Clint, it is to practice tackling in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Have you guys thought about revisiting next year what you're going to do to tackle?
I mean, we constantly always revisit different ways and trying to find things to get better, in every aspect of it. And, just because certain things might be difficult doesn't mean you just kind of throw it to the side. You just got to continue to find ways to challenge yourself. Coach talks about all the time competing, and that's part of competing is obviously try to find ways to improve an element that's kind of difficult to attain in these situations in practice. There are teams that are practicing well, so just because the rules are like that or however it is, you don't make excuses. You just got to find ways to get better. So we're constantly working towards that.
College football now, have you noticed that the tackling skills, the way they play the game?
There's the normal stuff that goes on. This has nothing to, also why I'm saying this has nothing to do with why we played the way we played. So I want to make sure nobody's getting that misconstrued for an excuse. But there is normal fundamentals of football, is changing. It's different. So obviously you have to continue to coach it and detail it obviously as kids get here so you continue to develop them in their game, without a doubt.
Clint, the absence of Jordan seemed like he's been so good as a tackler for you guys, such a big tackle number guy as well. Probably going to help you if he was available last week. But to highlight for his whole season, what he's been able to do with the injury he was coming off of, and just how much you guys obviously missed him this last week.
Yeah, no, we definitely did. I mean, we've missed him. We've missed guys like Chenna, the whole year. I mean, that makes a big difference. But again, you got to have a next man up mentality. And guys got to be ready to go when their opportunity is called and, comes to light and their name is called. So, but we definitely miss them without question. We know what Jordan brings to the table. We know what Chenna brings. But the guys who come into their place got to step up and answer the bell too. And, and some aspects of it was good, but not enough where we needed to play better.
They had some pretty well-timed explosive in the pass game too. What did you see, I guess, on some of those plays?
I mean, what happens is when you don't control the line of scrimmage in the run game and you got to commit extra people into the box, some of those opportunities with the explosives are going to come. That's naturally at the end of the day, that's what ends up happening. Now, even then, when you commit the extra guy, doesn't mean you should be giving up explosive plays, but it creates challenges and makes it harder. So the explosive pass plays are what leads to points, though. You know, that's the big part of that.
What have you thought of the impact Leonard Williams has made since he came here in the trade?
He's done a lot of things really, really well. You know, commanded and played double teams well. You know, obviously there's some parts of it where there's certain plays here or there that obviously he would like to play better, and he's still getting used to and understanding the scheme and system and whatnot. But he's done a lot of positive things. You know, we're still very pleased that we got him here.
What is it about the way Connor runs that forces so many broken tackles in this conference?
Man, unbelievable contact balance. You can see he has an innate sense when contact is coming. So whether it's a spin move, whether it's a straight arm, lowering his center of gravity to get his pads underneath yours, very tough, competitive downhill runner, constantly staying alive, legs are churning. So like guys like him, you got to have multiple numbers getting to the football. It's hard to get a one-on-one tackle on him, so you need bodies getting there.
You talk about legs turning. It seems like it's changed a little bit in the NFL with no label blowing playing yet. I'm not trying to get you in trouble with officiating, but what becomes the finishing point at that point in time when it's taking a little bit longer, a couple of extra beats to get that whistle?
When there's already, the thing we always talk about is second or third man into a pile. So if there's first guys made contact on a tackle, the second guy is either going for the football or you need to go attack and get lower to go attack the legs. If you let the player stay up right now, you got 2, 3, 4 players coming into a pile and everybody's high. That happened on one of the touchdown runs. The O-line's going to get behind you, you get pushed into the end zone. We don't want to put it in the hands of the official. So you either got to go low and wrap legs to get the cleats out of the grass, or sometimes depending on the style of player you have, you go in and you go kamikaze the legs and go cut the legs out from everybody. You know, but somehow in today's game, a lot of guys don't want to do that. You're thinking about the head injuries and things like that, and concussions. So the players play that a little bit more cautious, so they don't get, you know, the concussions and things like that, and the head and neck injuries. I would say it's been, if you remember back at training camp, I said the one thing I was looking for this year was consistency. And I would just say we've been inconsistent. There's been games that we've played really, really well, but we've had some that have been not up to standard. So I would just say inconsistent. So there's been some really positive spots and some good things, but not to the standard consistently of what we would all expect. That's what I would say, you know, everybody's in this all together. You know, there's things, again, that could be coached better, things that could be played better. I think there is some certain spots where you see some usefulness with some players in certain spots, you know, and then obviously guys, the consistency of people being able to play together. You like to be able to see the same group of guys with the youthfulness we have on this defense, and obviously some of the veteran pieces that you expect to have, to be able to have a long period of time to play together, you know. And going back to off-season, going back to training camp, you got a lot of guys that were not practicing together for most of training camp. We didn't have Spoon for most of training camp. You know, guys that were coming back off of injuries like Jamal, like Jordan, you know, things like that. Leonard being a late mid-season addition to the team. So the unity and the collective unity of the defensive guys playing together, it helps with those things. Again, not an excuse, but those things attribute and they help a lot of things the longer guys can play together.
On the unity part, do you think this is actually secondary?
Yeah, when you're dealing with injuries and things like that along that way, and the communication that comes with it, all those things, they play a hand. And I hate even addressing that because I don't want anything to come across like as an excuse, but it's part of reality too.
Anything else? Thank you.
All right, you guys take care.